Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. It's a big week for crypto. We got Warren Davidson in the news today. Chinese man's been arrested. We'll tell you why. We got this as well. Digital Ruble starts today, ladies and gentlemen. India, the UAE, blockchain and Brics. We got that and so much more. BIS and Ripple. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.22 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 0.2%, but maybe not for long because we're hearing something that a Bitcoin ETF in the U.S., spot Bitcoin ETF, according to, I think it was Whale Chart. I don't know if I have it in the lineup today because I just saw it. But matter of fact, if I could just look at it really quickly here, let's see. Whale chart status says SEC delays all Bitcoin ETF decision until 2024. Wah, wah, wah. So I would expect this green arrow to turn to a red one soon. Bitcoin 29,300, 1841 and change for Ethereum, and Tether market cap is 83.3 billion. Number 5 spots XRP 62 cents, and it's off by 0.7% in a 24-hour. Let's get started. It's linked to, ladies and gentlemen. And look, I wanted to highlight, because there's so many incredible opportunities on this platform, really. There really are. And you can't overstate it. But it's this top seller right here. It's Ripple, baby. Yeah. I want you to think about the information we're going over today and ask yourself, how much longer will it be before Link2 doesn't have access to get Ripple equity anymore? And how much longer would it be after that before Ripple actually goes to an IPO? And it won't matter where they IPO. If you're holding it, that's what matters. And if you're not, then, well, that matters too, doesn't it? So make sure you get you some before it runs out. The link underneath the video, it's Ripple, baby. I'm a shareholder, but I don't have enough. I need some more. This is shaping up to be a big week, and for Ripple included, shout out to Eleanor Terrett for this one, a possible decision in the Grayscale SEC lawsuit. Analysts say today at 11 a.m., which is just moments away right now, is possible, but could also be Friday, as these are 2 days the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals usually issues opinions. So we'll keep a lookout for that. I was going to wait the extra few minutes to see if it came out, but then I saw it could also be on Friday as it make the video. Ripple's response to the SEC's letter of intent to file an interlocutory appeal of the judge's ruling that programmatic sales of XRP do not qualify as securities is due by the 19th, which is Saturday. Now, I wanted to say to that there has been some confusion in some articles, and I just blanketly want to generally say that if you see an article, just understand that the SEC hasn't filed an interlocutory appeal. It is, as Eleanor says here, they have submitted a letter of intent to file an interlocutory appeal, which they will need a judge's blessing, Judge Torres' blessing to do so. So we'll keep you up to date on that as well. Binance, we covered in this morning's video. I like the spunk in Binance and CZ. Yeah. They just asked for a court to issue a protective order against the SEC, accusing it of undertaking a fishing expedition. And I tell you, one could make a great argument, right? The SEC and their motive with this regulation by enforcement is to really use intimidation, cast aspersions upon your project or company until you go broke, because they won't go broke. Luckily for Ripple, they had the money in the coffers to put up the fight, and still do. And it's going to benefit the entire digital asset space and not just Ripple and XRP as it has. So keep an eye out for that. Now, here we see a Chinese man arrested for buying USD Tether. Be careful out there, folks. Yeah. Sentenced to 9 months in prison for buying USD Tether. Yeah. Sounds like a great place to live, right? Maybe a second home, Oh, boy. And then there's this guy, Warren Davidson. By the way, former Ranger. I appreciate your military service, Warren Davidson, and your service in Congress. I really do, and I sincerely mean that. However, he said, I'll admit his surprise. Some Twitter active XRP holders are so hyper defensive of Ripple's work on central bank digital currencies because Warren Davidson said that Ripple's efforts were evil. No, I misquoted a little bit here and said you referred to Ripple as evil, but he referred to their efforts as evil. Well, let's not pick pepper out of fly crap, right? Let's get down to it. The salient point is here. His recollection of why he can't understand the fervor of XRP holders out here, or Ripple shareholders as well, is because you left out the part when you referred to their effort as evil. Ripple may be helping to onboard central bank digital currencies, which he's not a fan of, and neither am I, and most of us aren't. But the reality is those countries were doing it anyway. And if you understood how XRP is a bridge currency, you would know it works to isolate the CBDs to their respective country. If you know we can't stop the world from doing it, wouldn't you at least want to have a solution that can isolate the spillover from other countries who do? This is how I see what's going on here. No, I'm not a fan of central banks or governments directly issuing a digital dollar that they can track your spending and cut it off. No, I'm not a fan of that. Never have been. But that's why I like XRP as a bridge asset, right? It's very simple here. But let us not forget, with all due respect to Warren Davidson, he thought XRP and was very vocal about XRP and thought it was a security before the court case was ruled upon. And he was adamant about that. But you never heard him shine a light on ETHgate and the free pass. Not once. Not a sermon, just a thought. Right? Okay, now let's get on to this. Ripple silent partner, or is Ripple the silent partner? We know that there are connections to massive entities, banks, institutions alike with Ripple. We have had to speculate even beyond those points, and we'd love to do so here because just like a gold speculator, I'm a speculator in these digital hills. That's right. And I do not apologize for it. I'm very vocal about it so you understand who you're listening to. You can make your own mind up. But Visa working silently with Ripple? Look here. Let's take a look here. Per the tweet, Ripple's partner, and shout out to 24-Hour Crypto. Per the tweet here, Ripple partners acquired by Visa include Earth Money, and I think it was Earth Money and Currency Cloud, with the payment giant scored a partnership with two other Ripple partners, D-Money and Novati. Notably, Ripple announced a global partnership with Earthport in 2014, and in December 2018, Visa outbid MasterCard to buy Earthport for $250 million. Fast forward to March 20th, D-Money, a Thailand-based fintech company, partnered with Ripple, power faster and cheaper cross-border money transfers. Again, Visa partnered with D-Money last December. In December 2020, Currency Cloud aligned with Ripple to leverage RippleNet technology for its business. A year later, Visa completed the acquisition of Currency Cloud. These instances have compelled several people, including pseudonymous user, to claim that Visa could be working with Ripple discreetly. Now, this is all speculative. Visa is just following footsteps behind Ripple, he said. He added that Visa is silently working with Ripple, and this could take the XRP price to $100 in the future. Again, give 24 Hours Crypto a follow. He does great work over there. But that's his thoughts on that. But these relationships are very real. And you have to ask yourself, because I just covered this yesterday, about Ripple commanding 90% of the global FX market through remittance. Now, this was in a Instarem Ripple Partner article at the very bottom. Shout out to Michael Branch for bringing this up. Again, it's what caught my attention yesterday and why I reported on it yesterday. But nevertheless, think about this. MasterCard and Visa are gigantic payment networks. Ripple is also a value protocol payment network, decentralized exchange, so on and so forth. They already are plugged into 90% of the global FX market through remittance. how much harder would it be for them to be able to tap in to a larger degree to serve these larger payment companies like Visa and MasterCard? It's speculative, yes, but is it far off? I don't think so. And I'm not here to sell a used car. But look at this right here. Ripple, XRP, and Saudi Arabia. Now, this goes to the conversation we're getting ready to have here about Brics and all the things we know about Brics and that we're waiting to hear from Brics Coalition. As it works out, Sharia compliance is very important to the Middle East and the religion there. So there has to be these religious laws that are complied with. And as it works out, there's been a paper release that the XRP ledger and XRP can be deemed Sharia compliant. Now, this, again, I feel is a very important fact to weigh in to the speculation that it's one more piece of information to really look for what's going to happen at this summit in just another 7 days. That's right, the BRICS Summit in South Africa in just another 7 days, where we may hear the announcement of Saudi Arabia joining BRICS. And then you have to ask yourself, because we know that XRP does fall into being Sharia compliant, how much further do we have to go before we see a direct connection possibly inside of this whole operation of BRICS? There is no evidence as of yet that XRP is in the heart of the BRICS coalition. I speculate on this, as many others do, because we know that BRICS coalition is absolutely said, in their own words, they want to design and release a new reserve currency. And it will be commodities backed, as we've learned so far. If they're going to do that, then you have to understand, if Saudi Arabia joins, that there is going to be a real incentive for the Western world, like the U.S., to do something about that. And you would think that with the onset of something like that, whether it be soon or whether it be over time, that there would be a need to institute some kind of a bridge currency to isolate what the BRICS coalition is trying to achieve together. Now, there's some time to go, but we'll see. But another BRICS member announces that today the digital ruble has begun. The pilot will primarily be built to test such activity operations such as wallets, that is, opening digital ruble wallets, banking by a bank opening digital ruble wallets to customers. These individuals and legal entities transfer in digital rubles between customers and payments to merchant, service companies, for goods and services with the late digital ruble at the same time. This is going to happen across 13 different banks. These are major banks, and this is happening today. Again, Saudi Arabia, possibly a new BRICS coalition member, Russian ruble, digital, happening today. There are big steps happening, and here's some more. This is India, who is also a major BRICS coalition member, and it makes its first oil payments to the United Arab Emirates in its own dollars, rupees. And India has officially completed its first oil payment in United Arab Emirates in rupees, moving away from the US dollar. That is what we have to pay attention to. Again, I don't see like it's dollars today and it's not tomorrow, because I believe you have to go back into the bond market, and I've been very vocal about this. You got to pay attention to the bond market, because as long as the foreign countries are holding bonds, it's not going to be an overnight thing as far as I'm concerned. Now, who am I? You know what I mean? I'm just some dude doing what I do. But that's what I see. The bonds are where you got to watch, because the bonds are the backbone to any monetary system. But we need to watch it closely. BRICS right here. This is Andy Schekman, who knows quite a bit about BRICS himself. And he's talking about how blockchain will play a big part in BRICS coming up next week. Take a listen here.
Blockchain. That's right. So you show what every country that has signed up for the BRICS is going to peg to the blockchain. And if you do it right and have it audited by independent auditors, you now have trust. And in other words, trust is not in our past. It's not in our words. It's not in any of this. Trust in terms of the BRICS. Maybe people don't trust China and Russia so much, but trust is gold and immutability of a blockchain. And if you have it independently audited, you immediately have gained a large portion of the world's trust in a system that is sorely lacking trust these days.
And he's spot on, and he's absolutely spot on. An immutable blockchain. That's what we're talking about here. Now, I want you to listen very quickly to this clip of Jim Rickards here from back in 2018 talking about BRICS moving towards a no U.S. dollar in their system. Take a listen.
So here's a preview of the future. When I say the future, everything on this slide is already in development or working. So this is not science fiction. This is not something for the 22nd century. It's happening now.
And let me be clear. I don't like to cut in, but let me be clear. 2018, this was happening. Jim Rickards has already explained they're already there and it's already working. So this is about something being released. It's now 2023.
Basically, China and Russia are building their own cryptocurrency system. Now, when I say cryptocurrency, don't go out and buy Bitcoin. I don't like Bitcoin. I think it's the worst thing you could do. But the world of cryptocurrencies is not limited to Bitcoin. There are actually over 2,000 cryptocurrencies, some of them quite small. But you could go home tonight with the right software, you could invent your own cryptocurrency called the Icon coin. But Russia and China are developing their own. What used to be called the blockchain, today people call it the distributed ledger. So this is distributed ledger technology. They're developing their own coin or token. It'll be heavily encrypted, military-grade encryption, with their own pipes, meaning their own kind of private internet. And imagine an economy that looks like the following. So Iran sells oil to China. North Korea sells weapons to Iran. China sells infrastructure to Russia. Russia sells weapons to China. Russians take a vacation in Turkey because it's a pretty country, and so on. So I've just described a whole trading network, and imagine it's all done with this cryptocurrency. So all we do is keep score. And you can keep score with baseball cards, bottle caps. I mean, it doesn't have to be money to keep score. It's just a way of keeping track. Pegged to the SDR, the special drawing right, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
You get the idea. Jim's telling you this has been going on for a while, and that was 2018. So here we are 5 years later, and digital ruble starting today. You know, look, I just want to show you this really quickly here. I'm not asking people to see what I'm seeing, but I like what I'm seeing. And when I look at the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, talking about cross-border payments, interoperability, and extension task force composition, and I see that Ripple is on here with Swift and MasterCard and the rest of them, what in the world am I to make of that? And when I think about the idea and understanding that mBridge is absolutely, China's mBridge could challenge dollar dominance in cross-border payments, right? When I look at mBridge and China, Thailand, Hong Kong, and the UAE, well, I already know that Thailand, Hong Kong, and the UAE have a deep relationship with Ripple and XRP in some instances, revolutionizing cross-border payments, sidestepping the traditional dollar-dependent channels. That's what they're doing, right, with the BIS. Well, when I see that, I have to ask myself, look, listen to this very closely. This is James Wallace from the head of CBDC Central Bank Engagement. He talks about the XRP ledger. He talks about the multi-bridge project that BIS works with, and that how they are one of the models that they're working with. And XRP is not necessary to use it in every situation. Quick example. If we're going dollar to euro, there is enough liquidity in the dollar to euro market right now that there isn't a need to use XRP as an example. And maybe you could find one, and I'm sure you could. But there's enough liquidity there to just settle that between the dollar and the euro. Just like domestically, you don't need to go dollar to dollar and put XRP between it. There's not a need for it. That's the beauty of the ledger, is that it doesn't force you to use XRP. It's there as a complement. Take a listen to this very quick clip.
But the core offering really is not XRP. There's no XRP involved. It's the native token is the CBDC.
Exactly.
The native coin.
The native coin, yeah. Now, where XRP could come into play,
where it could come into play,
looking at cross-border CBDC. So when you have a digital dollar and you have a digital, real, or digital pound, you obviously need to have some way to interact cross-border. Yeah. So I think the BIS called this a multi-CBDC model.
BIS called this the multi-CBDC model. There you have it. He's telling you. Their project falls into the multi-CBDC model. And what is that model called? M-Bridge, multi-bridge. That's what we're talking about here. So look, this is extremely exciting to me. I'm continually watching the world break off into fractionalized payment zones. In another 7 days, we may find out that Saudi Arabia is pulling away from the petrodollar agreement. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.